Hi guys, in this video I'm going to be showing you on how to create a Django project, and this video assumes that you've already installed a Python into your computer. If you are not sure whether or not you have a Python version installed in your computer, you can just open up your command prompt. So you can just punch in cmd and you can there type in Python dash dash version. And if you see a version over there, that means that you've already installed Python into your computer. So now the next step to create a Django project, we have to install a virtual environment. So a virtual environment is a tool that helps you keep your dependencies required by different projects separately by creating an isolated Python virtual environment for them. And this is one of the most important tools that Python developers use. So imagine you are building two Django projects and one uses a version 4.0 and the other one uses version 4.1. So you want to separate the two versions of the project, and this is where a virtual environment comes in. So in order for us to set up a virtual environment, we have to install a module called virtual env. So to install a virtual environment called env, you just have to type this pip install virtual env. You can hit enter. So as you can see on my side, I've already installed virtual env, hence why it says the requirement is already satisfied. So if it's your first time, you should see a slightly different output. So after you've installed the virtual env, the next step would be for us to create a new virtual environment. So this virtual environment is going to house all of our packages and dependencies because we don't want to use global installations. We want this isolated environment for our packages. So for us, before we do that, we are going to create a new folder on our desktop. So create a new one, and I'm going to name it dev. I'm then going to cd into that environment. So I'm going to go in cd, but first I'm going to go to my desktop and then cd into that directory over here. It's currently empty. Okay, then the next step would then be to create a new environment. So you just have to type in virtual env and then the name of the environment that you want to create. You can name this anything you want. I'm going to name mine VENV, standing for virtual environment. After that, hit enter. It's currently creating the virtual environment. Okay, it is done creating the virtual environment. If we look at the folder, you will be able to see that now you have a new folder called VENV in accordance to what we specified over here. So now that we have successfully installed our virtual environment, we have to activate the environment. In order for us to do that, you just have to type the name of the environment. In our case, it is VENV, then backslash scripts backslash activate. So we are now inside our virtual environment, and I'm just gonna clear the screen just to remove all this clutter. And you can see by here on the left hand side it shows VENV, so it lets you know that you are now inside your environment. Alright, so now that we're inside our environment, we can enter pip list. So pip list just shows us all the modules that are installed inside our environment. So currently in our environment we don't have a Django setup. We only have these three modules. So we are now going to install Django into this particular environment. So for that you can enter pip install Django, and this command will then start to install Django into our virtual environment. So let's give it a moment to install Django and all the other modules that Django comes with. Okay, so it is now successfully installed Django into our project. So to verify that it is installed, we can just enter pip list and we should be able to see Django right over here. So we have installed Django 4.2.3 along with other modules that it has installed. You can also take a look at them over there. So now our next step is going to be creating a new Django project, and for that I'm firstly gonna open Visual Studio so that we can be able to have a better look at our current folder structure. Alright, so I'm gonna drag this dev into our Visual Studio. Then the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to create a new Django app. So for that we can just type in Django, close that, you can type in Django admin, start project, and then the name that you want to call your new Django app. So we are just going to call it app. Alright, so this has went ahead and created a new folder. It is called app. So this is a new Django project called app, and to ensure that everything has been installed well, we are going to run our Django project. So we are going to cd into the new directory called app, and when we're inside the directory, we are going to enter in python manage.py run server, hit enter, and our Django project is now running at this port 8000. So you can press Ctrl and click, and this should open up this page, and this lets you know that you have now successfully installed Django into your project and it is now running. And that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, goodbye.